Hello everybody and welcome back to the Halo World Championships live from Seattle, Washington. We have a big one on your screens here. Sentinels up against Quadrant. Both these teams sharing a pool with Optic Gaming, who have just about 3-0'd ascending baseline. So this one could be about who's going to make second in the pools, and perhaps even for Sentinels, they might have ambitions of finishing first down.
Yeah, of course, Optic have already played Quadrant. Quadrant sadly went down to Optic, but for Sentinels, they will still have that game to come a little bit later on. So they really will want to topple Quadrant here and try and solidify themselves in the top 2 of this pool, and then they can think about battling for first place. But we know when it's on Strongholds, Quadrant are always going to have something to say about it. Arguably one of the most famous teams in the league when it comes to Strongholds in their history, but a lot of that history was made when they had Legend on the squad. But they still have shown dominance today. Even against Optic, they did very well in Strongholds.
Yeah, Quadrant definitely cracked the code once upon a time. And still trying to settle with life after Legend, as you so rightfully put. I think it's important to note as well for Sentinels, they've been a real mixed bag this season, Dan. There's been top 12s, top 8s, and whenever we look at this roster, we always expect to see them in the Championship Sunday conversation, in that top 4 bracket, but they have yet to really live up to the billing.
Yeah, they've really struggled at times, and some disappointing pool play performances as well. And arguably some upsets that maybe shouldn't have happened. But Quadrant is a very difficult task, and I think that Sentinels will know that coming into this. But can they topple them? If they do, then that puts them in great stead for how they move forward later on.
It's always interesting as well when you have the 2nd versus 3rd seed in the pools, particularly when it's an international competition. Sentinels will fancy this is the series that they can win, and on the other side of things, Quadrant will also be quietly confident that this is the one that they can win. And ultimately, we're going to have a winner here one way or another, and it will be decided. And I think for Sentinels, the mood in the camp probably hasn't been too great with how tournaments have been going, with how their schedule has been at tournaments. We've heard LethuL taking to social media, having a few complaints. So there has been some gripes, there's been some issues, but ultimately, when it's come to play, they haven't really given all they can. The results haven't gone their way. For Quadrant, they're in a triple cap now, 113, and really being dominant here. This is the problem with interference. If you find yourself down, you get on a couple of bad spawn cycles, you can really be punished. You can see that in the scoreline now.
Yeah, Sentinels at danger of just allowing Quadrant to run away with this one far too comfortably in the opening stages. Just not enough kills on the board for Sentinels. They're not been able to get anything done. Only 5 kills between them at the moment. And you compare that to the 22 on the side of Quadrant. It really has been a one-sided affair. Finally, Sentinels going to break through and at least get some control and some points on the board though.
BNC then in control for Sentinels, perhaps an avenue back into this game, because as quickly as you can lose a few points in a triple cap, you can capture them back if you can flip the script, if you can then garner some kind of momentum. Bubu Dubu is down to no shields, as is Glory. What can the Irishmen do? Here representing our little country, the green, white and gold.
Our.
That's where I'm from, that's where I belong.
You said our though.
Our.
Like yours and mine.
No. Ours is in mine and Glory's.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not
from the
included.
little county of Cork,
right.
The rebel state it's known as.
Yeah.
Lovely place, lovely people.
Well, Snipedrone from our...
Nobody cares, moving on.
Red and white.
Moving on. Red and white.
Yep.
I hate that place.
Do we?
I do anyway.
No, you don't.
There's some history there. We won't dive too much into it.
Some of your best mates have come from England.
Yeah, but there's some history there. People have been upset in the past.
They have. Still upset now, actually.
Still upset, very much upset.
But it's great to see Snipedrone and Glory on the same team, to do what we never could.
They're settling the differences, yeah.
To do what we never could.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then somehow they've got 2 French players with them as well, just to throw another spanner in the works.
Because not many people like them historically either.
Really.
Yeah, it really is. It's a mixture. It's a pot here. It's a fine cocktail of European talent and European countries. A lot of cultures coming together. Some settling their old squabbles that they once had and trying to perform as best as they can. And so far, it's been working to their benefit. 187 to 19 and climbing. With Sentinels very much on the back foot here, or as Wes Touch would say, back feet. I'm not sure how you do that. That is something he says, and he refuses to admit he's wrong.
I've actually had several conversations with him about it, even one live on air.
Yeah.
And he still
won't back down.
Still won't back down on his feet.
Remains on his 2 feet, both positioned backwards somehow. If someone could draw that for me, that would be great.
I think he also said on their back heel as well.
Yeah, on their back heels.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're on your front toes, that's a Michael Jackson. Back heels is a different thing entirely.
Back heel is something you see in soccer.
You do in football.
I said soccer for the North American audience.
Yeah, I'll do the European stuff. You do the American stuff. It's a subtle blend that we have going on here. One thing we know, neither one of these teams have a Lionel Messi. He's in the MLS. I'm trying to appease both crowds here.
To them. I really enjoy that. Yeah, thank you.
You see what I'm doing.
Although, if you were to pick out a Messi throughout the entirety of this game, I guess the closest you'd have would be LethuL, right?
Yeah.
His history, his experience, what he's been able to achieve in Halo. And then he goes to a team who isn't quite reaching the expectations.
I thought you were going to say he's past his prime, and that would have been very mean.
I wasn't going to say that.
Messi. And right now, A, B slightly still in control, and C, triple cap still locked in.
This game's over.
This game looks done and dusted.
It's over.
Overshield's about to pop. Snipedrone pops into his chest. They have captured B. C is under threat as well. But the job not quite done just yet. B and C in control, and now Sentinels can maybe cook. What can Falcated do?
It's a long way to go, isn't it?
I
think that this one is still, it's going to be done. I haven't seen enough from Sentinels so far to suggest that they have the minerals to make a comeback and hold on to it for that long. But I would love to be proved wrong. It's one of those things that you want to see an upset, you want to see a comeback, because when they do happen, they are very special. And it does take incredible teamwork and the perfect positioning to do it. And I think Strongholds is always one of those games where you do have to never say never, right? It can happen.
I think I take the opposite stance, in which I do not want to see a comeback. Of course, it would be great for our Sentinels fans, but of course for European fans, Quadrant and ITB are pretty much all we have. So we'd like to keep them progressing nicely in the tournament.
Oh, you're biased? Okay.
Yes, of course.
Right, okay.
Absolutely. And LethuL and bubu dubu both combining a couple of kills on the Glory and Snipedrone, so not going out at this one just yet, keeping it in the balance. But of course, Dan, like you say, it's such a long road back, and you can make no mistakes from here on out.
I mean, I have been known to curse teams, and by me saying this game is over,
I've seen this swear.
I may have cursed Quadrant by saying this game is over. So if the comeback does happen, then I'm sorry to any Quadrant fans.
It is spooky season, so curses do happen.
The curses happen. You have to get rid of the ectoplasm.
It's nothing but ectoplasm. 7 points is all that's required, but sometimes Quadrant have put themselves in situations like this in the past, Dan, where you think you just need 7 points, just figure it out, and then time goes by. Now they're about to get locked into a triple cap of their own, so you need to stop speaking almost. Why do you keep getting hired?
I'll just shut up. Well, because the thing is, right, hiring me and me cursing means that it creates exciting games and drama.
Yes,
and that's what people love.
That's what they come to see.
In all seriousness, this has been great from Sentinels. They have really been able to fight back, but there is no room for error. One small mistake, and this game is going to be falling away from you.
Overshield is up. Speaking of falling away, the overshield seems to have fallen off the map. It might have hit a catwalk down there. We'll have to get confirmation somehow, some way. As you can see, the kill's still heavily switching one way, and it's going to be the boys who typically wear the red and the black. Sentinels continue to grind out points here. And as time goes on, Quadrant are just going to start panicking very, very shortly, Dan.
I don't know who's more nervous, me or Quadrant. I said this game was over.
You were almost ready to raise a hand in game number 1. Still time left.
I was almost ready to throw it into a break.
This is the magic.
Here we go, though.
Of a Strongholds. They got an extra point, so they only need 5 now. Do that 5 more times and we should be good. Precision, though, locks in B, and they're going to keep scoring. Falcated and bubu dubu have fallen for now. On the other side of things, SLG and Sica.
It's actually commentary genius if you think about it, right? Because I say, you know, this game's over. And then as
There's
they
no
start
way
to
back.
come back, people are like, oh my god, it's even more impressive because the commentator thought it was done.
But didn't that happen last event where we thought Sentinels were going to do the incredible and they had this massive points comeback but then ultimately fell? So it was maximum drama, actually. As I say, that Quadrant have finally... Well, have they, though?
Have they?
Have they, though?
But imagine!
Falcated scampers away. He has to reload his gun, but Glory will finally lock in the shot onto the face. Sica's going to continue jiggle peeking back and forth. B's being controlled. C's being controlled. This one's not over. We looked as though it was, but is it, though?
But you never really know. Well, now B's being contested. Surely this is now where they go over the finish line. Sentinels have to throw everything forward B is being contested, C is being contested, A though is being taken
Someone
back.
get inside B,
They
step
just
in.
can't get over it, but finally they do, and Quadrant will close the game out, albeit from a little bit of a worry in those final moments. But Sentinels, they did well, but sadly far too many points were lost in the early stages there.
Yep, I think Quadrant finally get the job done. Made it a little bit more of a difficult task than they would have liked to. Sentinels showing signs of life in the mid and the end game, but ultimately they've given themselves just too much to do. And game number 1, that will be a wrap. We'll be back very shortly with our game number 2. Welcome back, everybody. We are live, locked, loaded at Halo World Championships here in Seattle. Game 2 is now on your screens. If you were here before, you already know what happened. But if you're just joining us, Quadrant are 1-0 to the good after a very strong Stronghold performance. Sentinels almost making the comeback of dreams, but it was just that. It was almost. And now game 2, Slayer on Aquarius. One of my favorite maps, maybe not favorite mode combinations, but we always say championships really are built off the back of Slayers, Dan, and if Sentinels and Quadrant have aspirations of causing a massive stir at the World Championships, you've got to find success in the Slayers.
Yeah, Aquarius has become a bit of a shootout. With the GAs in place, Heat Wave not being used. You've of course got the overshield, but most of the work is going to be done with bandits. No real other weapons to be played with. Of course, you can see a commando, you'll see a battle rifle pop up here or there, but most of it is going to be done through the main weapon on your screen. It has been a year filled with the bandit, of course. Personally, I miss the battle rifle. I'm just going to put it out there. Controversial, maybe. I miss it.
I miss it too. How much of it is down to nostalgia, and how much of it is down to I just like the way it felt in my hands.
It did feel quite meaty, didn't it?
It was beefy. And I do miss it. Maybe one day we'll get back there, or maybe one day we'll continue on with the bandit rifle. One thing we do know is we have a squabble to settle here. 3 go down for Quadrant. Sica's just spawned back up to make it 2. And you can see Snipedrone slowly introduced back into the fight as well. As it stands, though, Sentinels with a perfect start to get themselves back into this series. If they can continue in this same vein, you really wouldn't be backing against them with the overshield popping up now. Snipedrone's P2. Dubu has taken a couple of shots of damage. Snipedrone's going to try and get away. He does so successfully, standing on that pillar. And you would think to yourself, when you get someone down to no shields, they're standing top middle behind that pillar. Where are the rest of the bullets? Where are the rest of the people? What are they looking at? And how is he still alive?
I think that every time I play matchmaking.
I'm telling you.
I'll put far too many bullets into someone. Also, this is a very ugly battle rifle. Just going to put that on there.
It's in a red bag.
Is it a Christmas wrapped battle rifle?
It's something.
Is Santa giving someone a gift of a battle
Whatever
rifle?
it is, it shouldn't be.
Well, he just got covered in ectoplasm, and
more ectoplasm.
It will be glory going down. But this is a bit of a comeback from Quadrant. I mean, they were down by, what, 8 or 9, and now suddenly they've turned it around to 5. Aquarius really can flip-flop around like a dead fish.
What sort of dead? No, the fish is still alive, Dan, if it's flip-flopping.
Not necessarily.
No.
Muscle spasms.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not having that, Dan.
Muscle
the fish
spasms.
is still alive if it's out of water, but the dead fish isn't moving.
It's well, sometimes it could be.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Unless it's on your plate and you're moving it. Accept it.
Have you
Accept
seen?
it so we can
Have you
move
seen
on.
the other seafood? Like there's squids that move even after death.
We weren't talking about squids.
No, we weren't.
We were talking about fish. Don't change the game. Don't build the goalposts.
I think mussels can still move.
I mean, they can, but they won't.
Or well, maybe what I was insinuating
Just stop. You could just stop.
Flopping around like a dead fish was that we weren't flip-flopping. It actually was just.
No, but your point of analysis
it was
it was like
still.
a flip-flop fish that was dead. Well, we've been chatting utter nonsense is all it can be described as. The game within 4. Signs of life, I almost said shines, because again, I'm putting H's where they shouldn't and don't belong. For 4 kills is the difference now. Overshield about to pop up once more. Snipedrone was the benefactor of it last time. Will we see a similar story here as he slides forward and again gets a kill with a teammate? Sica remains top middle, gets another. 2 kills now the difference. with Snipedrone having overshield, with numbers advantage, and them knowing exactly where the teams are going to spawn. This is perfect for Quadrant.
Here we go. Quadrant on the comeback. Will tie things up. 28-28. No more fishes to be talked about. Instead, we can start to focus on the fact that Quadrant have taken the lead just like that. LethuL, though, takes down Glory.
LethuL with the fade away. Keeps themselves within 2. Momentum just starting to shift because it was, what, the difference was 8 kills or so at one point, so Sentinels had 2 clean wipes advantage, but just like that, Quadrant have come back, making sure that they're more than a couple of clean wipes then, there are a couple of dirty ones along the way as well.
Do love a good clean wipe. Makes my day far better. 5 kill the advantage now. And Sentinels probably wondering, left scratching their heads saying, well, where on earth did we throw this away? How have Quadrant come back into this so comfortably? Well, part of that reason is the man on your screen, Snipedrone, 15 kills. Only a couple of assists, but he is not on this team to get assists. He's on this team for this reason, to get the kills, to get into the face of the enemy when the opportunity presents itself, but if not, he anchors very well. He is a turret, and they are now 11 kills away from winning this game and going 2-0 up in this series.
Snipedrone, Bandit Drone, Damage Drone, all of the above. Continues to be an influence on this game, on this series for his team. And typically when things are going right, it's because Snipedrone is playing well. He really can be the linchpin and a positive force for the Europeans. SLG over towards the fridge, backing Precision all the way down. He's forced back to his own side of the map. And this is good pressure being applied by Quadrant. The Sentinels need to try and find an answer now. Running out of deaths, down by 5, 6 minutes on the clock, so that shouldn't be a factor here. Melee comes through in a trade from Glory. 2 go down for Quadrant, 1 for Sentinels. That's a pretty good way of analysing the damage that's been done. Sentinels coming out of those few engagements, the better. LethuL doing damage, getting Sica down to no shields, who's backing away over towards Fridge. This is much better from Sentinels, but still a couple of kills going against him. Overshield, this is going to be massive if he can get it. He has got it, he's locked it into his chest, and he's gotten a kill. Much better 2-kill game.
Well, as my granddad used to say, if we go down together. That's not how you want to play the game of Halo, though. You want to be making sure that your teammates stay alive. If you're going to go down with someone, make it an enemy. Trade out.
Did your granddad write that song?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. 44-43 now, though, and Sentinels have taken the lead. So just like that, this game has, in fact, flip-flopped like an alive fish.
A flip-flop. The fish is very much alive. It is moving, it is grooving.
The tail is certainly flapping around. 46-44 now, and just like that, Sentinels can take control of this game, but every single time you think a team is taking control, the other team just bites back, and it's 46-46. This is going to be a nail-biter of an ending.
What way is it going to shake out then? Things are starting to heat up. Precision goes down. Double kill for SLG, and the Frenchman keeps on moving, keeps on grooving. Bubu, dubu, and Co over towards the Fridge side now, and they're going to be backing away, trying to find the cover of their teammates. Bubu gets a nice grenade. That'll open this up now.
SLG on the flank, but he is going to get called out. Be careful, doesn't matter though. SLG puts the 50th in, and Quadrant will take a 2-0 lead, and this could be a huge series for them if they keep playing like this.
1 game away from the complete clean sweep onto Sentinels. Can they find a response? So much experience on that team. But for now, it's Quadrant in the ascendancy with 1 game away from keeping their pool play hopes alive, Dan, it must be said. We'll be back with more in just a couple of minutes.
Welcome back to pool play here at the Halo World Championship. It's Quadrant and Sentinels. It's map 3. It is a 2-0 lead to the European Giants as they look to try and make this a 3-0 to give themselves a fantastic chance of going through to that winner's bracket here in Seattle.
Well, the result as it is, and if it continues in this same vein, criticism has got to land at the feet of Sentinels. At what point is the talent on this roster going to find form? Because as we said at the start of the series, they seem to always fall short of what we're expected of them. Never really fulfill the billing. They've seen a lot of difficult times, a lot of difficult performances, and has to be said, they've underperformed for large parts of the year, it has to be said. But SLG just obliterating them. Now they're spawning courtyard. They're exactly where they want them. As SLG continues to challenge the world, and listen, the confidence was flowing through his veins. And maybe the work has already been done, and as a matter of fact it has. Now the only concern is a counter cap. Just like that, 1 minute and 15 on the clock, and Quadrant are absolutely cooking right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if what you're alluding to is team changes, but I think after the World Championship, there's always going to be a lot of team changes. I mean, there's going to be players waiting in the wings, and there's one player in particular who can't play at the moment, Spartan, who will be returning after the Halo World Championship, and of course he was on Sentinels, so you know, there is definitely going to be room and wiggle room for new players to enter different teams, and I'm sure there is going to be a hurricane of changes depending on what happens at this tournament and who wins, because everyone is got their eyes set on the same thing: winning championships, getting rings, and being the best in the world. And sadly, if you do fall short of that, you start pointing fingers and you start wanting to make changes to try and get closer to your goal.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's very difficult when you're talking about, and perhaps the prospect of making team changes, because this Sentinels roster on paper is so good, and you're trying to figure out what is it that isn't clicking, isn't working, what roles need to be adjusted, what play styles need to change. Because when I watch them, there's never an obvious X player didn't do Y thing correctly. It's the sum of its parts that seems to be the issue here. You have so much talent on that roster, former world champions. Something's got to give. And whether they figure it out, still plenty of time, not only in the series, but in the tournament. They can still go on a run. They may still turn this one around. You can never count them out because of how good they are. I think the expectation that I always have on them is that they will be in that top 4, top 6, contending for some of the big boys, even making it to a top 3. But so far, they faltered. One way or another, things need to change, whether that's performance levels from each individual or, like you alluded to, the team changes. But for Quadrant, very much a different story. They've been trending the right direction. Results having gone their way this year as well, they might find themselves in a similar situation, which their expectations where they're going to see a similar story to last year, top 3s, top 4s, top 6s. But they've fallen short of expectations as well. 2 teams in very similar situations. But right now, the result is only going one way.
Quadrant having the lead means they can kind of sit on it a little bit and bide their time. They don't want to give up too much map, though. As I say that, all 4 were temporarily down, so this is going to be a Sentinels push. And they are going to be able to pull this flag. Is anyone in a position to stop it? Glory does get the first kill on the board, and that might just give the time for spawners to do something here.
Work to do. LethuL with the sniper rifle. We know he can start finding some faces. Hits the body on the Snipedrone, but shots were there. Shots were good. Sniper rifle will now fall in the courtyard. Snipedrone's going to scoop it up and immediately head towards Sword. He's already got Glory behind enemy lines. Sica's gotten a kill. SLG's going to fall though, and that's going to make this flag pull a little bit more difficult. Falcated in the courtyard. Body gets connected to. He's going to try and escape, stay alive. Falcated will eventually get shut down. Bubu dubu was there though. A 2-bullet sniper rifle to play with then. And what can bubu dubu do with it? I won't do it. I won't do it again.
That was so easy.
I won't do it again.
That was like...
What can bubu dubu? That's what you want me to say.
You teed yourself up for
I did.
and you didn't knock it out of the park.
Well, sometimes putting the bat down is
the right thing to
an
do.
honourable thing to do.
You said Falcated in the courtyard, and it reminded me of a game of Cluedo. Falcated in the courtyard with the crowbar.
Did he do it?
Can't say that. Quadrant now on their way to giving up a flag here to Sentinels. It has been a great pull. And Falcated looks like he is going to be hammering this one home. And map control still on the side of Sentinels here. There's a chance for back-to-backs.
Flags out. Can they progress it over the halfway point? That's the next point. That's the next challenge. Grenades are going down. Snipedrone will take out the flag carrier, but still a lot of pressure being applied to the base. LethuL is there. He has a bit of a backstab, a lot of damage being done. Trying to stay alive now, put himself in a pretty precarious position, but delaying this fight all the time, getting his shields back as well. Lovely work out of LethuL, engaging with 3 members of Quadrant. Sniper rifle now, he's going to steal from the boys in green as well. Glory's going down, SLG could be about to join him. Shields get ripped. This is much better from LethuL. Much better from the Sentinels team in general.
Yeah, they've been able to rip away the control from Quadrant a little bit. And they really have been bullying them on the sniper side, and Quadrant haven't really known what to do. Often, if you push sniper side a little bit too often, you can leave yourself a little bit vulnerable to some sort of counterplay, but they've been spreading themselves out well, have Sentinels. Almost a line, a wall across Empyrean. And Quadrant have just been running into a Sentinel's gun every single angle they take. And when LethuL keeps hitting body shots like this, Quadrant are really struggling to push up.
That's the thing, you talk about successful snipers in the game, and it looks flashier, it looks nicer when you hit the head, but if you keep hitting bodies like that, the influence you can have on the game is massive, and LethuL is having that. This life alone, 14, 10, and 8. LethuL's finding it. Again, more damage being done. He's still alive, still been a thorn in the side of Quadrant. They need to take care of him, so otherwise he'll take care of them.
Yeah, that was a great life from LethuL. In the end, amounts to nothing but extra kills and a little bit of map presence, but it looks like that's also going to fall away for Sentinels, and now Quadrant have been able to survive that push. Sentinels will be able to get the overshield. Where do the rockets end up? Should end up in the hands of Quadrant, you'd imagine. And yes, they will. So it's the rocket versus the overshield, the age-old battle. Looks like the overshield is going to get the better of the two. Mainly because SLG couldn't find him.
He did find him.
Oh.
Precision was the overshield player.
Oh, was he?
But his overshield was gone by the time the rocket had played.
Well, well, well.
So technically he didn't find, he found the overshield player with no overshield. Either way, Snipedrone's hit the flag. He's already got it home. 2-1 now, and just like that, the amount of pressure that Sentinels, you spoke about it, kills that was being put down. LethuL doing so much good work, but it didn't amount to anything on the scoreline. And just like that, Quadrant take the lead and look as though they could be about to punch in 2 back-to-back.
SLG is going to bring all these Sentinels players over towards him here by just pulling this flag. Get them out of any nook or cranny they might find themselves in. There's a trade 1-for-1. A kill here would be massive for SLG, but it was equally as big for Precision to ensure he wins it so that no flag can be run. And even though Quadrant are ahead, map control now goes back in favor of Sentinels, and they can look to lead the charge here. 3 minutes left on the clock to try and even things up. Otherwise, it could be a 0-3 in pool play against Quadrant here. And remember, Quadrant have already beaten Pure. No, that was ITV.
ITV.
Excuse me. Wrong European team.
European team
I am.
up.
Quadrant have already lost to Optic.
Yes.
Is where I meant to go with that one.
We have eventually stumbled our way there. One player not stumbling right now is Snipedrone with the flag. Down long haul. Moving at what can only be described as great pace. SLG's gotten a kill behind them. 2 go down. Damage is being done, but Snipedrone gets there. It's a clean sweep for Quadrant. It's a clean sweep for Europe, and Sentinels' woes continue.
An unbelievable performance from Quadrant and a great response after their loss to Optic Gaming. Emphatic fashion, they find a 3-0 victory against Sentinels, and it does leave a lot of questions asked about Sentinels and where they go from here, especially as they still have Optic to play. Will that victory put Quadrant in the top 2 and have them getting into the winner's bracket once we get to Saturday? Of course, that's going to be done. The series, a very quick one. That's 2 back-to-back 3-0s here on the Bravo stream. But we will be back for more action after this. Take care.